Flynn and Ede, yo, Fobby on the beat. Talking leadership, making the big plays in the mortgage game through the sun and the haze. Close more deals, build your success. Time to level up and beat the stress. Get ready to laugh, Lynn and Ede. Lynn and Ede. Your weekly scene. Let's go.
Welcome back to another edition of Laugh Underneath the Podcast. And, by the way, Justin, I just want you to know with our new intro, my dog has filed a lawsuit against me. So talk about lawsuits. He was very upset that your impression came before his. So his agent has reached out to me and tried to move Sammy ahead of you because you're a newcomer and Sammy's been with me for 7 seasons.
That's fair. I can't. I'm okay with that.
You're okay with that?
I'm fine with that. Yep. He's earned it.
I don't need to hire a legal team.
Oh, Sammy's earned it. You know,
I was going to defend you, brother. I was actually going to go out and say, Sam, dog, this is not fair. You're a human, Justin.
But Sam puts up with you 24/7, and that's got to be the worst job in the world. So I think let him have his glory.
You think hanging with me 24/7 is the worst job in the world?
Yeah.
Where's the music? Stop the music for it.
Can you imagine living with Fobby and hearing this all the time, 24/7, 365?
Really?
No offense, Fobby.
I mean, I'm sure you're not offending me, but what the hell, man? Like, tell me what you really think about me.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, can you imagine?
I mean, I think I'm a pretty easygoing guy.
Yeah.
Although I think we have, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there was this. We put a video or a recorder in your home.
Uh-oh.
Yes, and so we did pick up on this sound. I don't know who this is.
That was me.
So okay, we weren't sure if that was you or Mrs. Justin.
That's a happy yell, though. That's my celebratory. That's when I drink. It's when I finish my jar of honey. I yell that.
One more jar. Is that when you get your commission check from
That's like my Chewbacca imitation. That's my closest Chewbacca imitation.
Hey, by the way, so speaking of Chewbacca, have you noticed that the rates have come down?
That's a nice intro. I have. He's so tall, they've come down to C-3PO level or even R2-D2.
So the rates I saw this morning, we were doing some pricing. We're like in the 5.5 on an FHA, which was pretty decent, right? I mean, look, by the way, I don't think they should go much lower than 5, just for the record. I'm not one of those guys that believes that like COVID era rates should come back because I think this is disastrous.
Right. I agree. I mean, to me, 5 to 6 is the sweet spot. That's a great place to be. Right.
The economy should be humming along. Inflation should be controllable. I'm hoping that wages pick up a little bit because that has been on the downside.
Yep.
But obviously we can't get everything right.
Maybe insurance could bring down the premiums a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
That'd be interesting.
I know it's pooled risk. I get that, but maybe no hail for a while would be a good thing.
Minnesota. I mean, you're up in Minnesota, so I mean, you guys get the disastrous winter stuff, right?
Our claims are more hail in the summertime. We do get winter, but I don't think the claims are. I mean, there's obviously car crashes and such, but I think it's more of the hail that's the expensive, the high dollar stuff. The roofs.
You feel like insurance companies have had all this planned. Like, what is it? Is it that we're taking up their profitability so that they want to increase the premiums? And what do you think that is?
They're still doing okay from what I've seen. I think they're still making money.
I mean, Minnesota has like a lot of corporate headquarters for insurance companies, don't you guys?
I think so. We have a lot of. I think we do. I'm not sure exactly which ones, but
anyway,
I do. Yeah,
I gotta ask you about this thing. Did you see Jerome's Powell interview after the Fed kept the rates the same yesterday?
Yep. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's just Jerome Powell shit. I mean, it's normal, right? I don't know exactly. I would hate to say, Jerome, are you hungry? Like, I don't know. Depending on what time of the day it is. Is it 3:00 here or is it 3:00 in Bangkok? But the point that I was going to make about Jerome's was when they asked him, did he have any advice for his successor?
Yeah,
that was a pretty telling little comment. He paused before he commented for about 8 seconds, and that pause was not lost on me.
Yeah,
because like my wife, she pauses for about 8 seconds before she responds to my questions.
And Sammy's like, "Can you believe this guy?" I mean, you get to
So-
leave all day. I'm here with this guy all day.
The thing is Jerome Powell says, don't let politics influence your decision-making process in the Fed. That's a pretty good shot at the current administration, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you think he was prepped for that question, or that just off the cuff, you think?
Oh, you went one step deeper, brother. I didn't even think like that's his planted interviewer, reporter out there.
I mean, if I'm Jerome Powell, I probably wouldn't mind hearing the questions before I go out there, but that's also a question you could expect to be asked, I suppose.
You think his buddies call him Romo?
Probably not.
Romy? Hey, Romy, I'm going to ask you this question.
He's got a nickname, I'm sure, but it might not be what you and I think it is.
The big tick.
You think he's going to be, you think in April he's going to be on an island somewhere just sitting in the sun?
I think he's going to go to a country where they have no extradition treaty with America.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's
Yeah, an island far away.
He's going to take all those billions of dollars he was supposed to use to redo the Federal Reserve building and go buy an island with no extradition treaty. I mean, that's what I think.
Probably be in like Venezuela or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Now, listen, about the low rates. Here's the other part that was kind of conflicting for me. I know I'm going through these topics quickly, but we have our guests waiting, right? Yep. Here's the thing. We're not seeing a major pickup in activity for applications.
No, we're not.
So this whole thing that I've been predicting that there's no refi boom coming is now I'm on print in Housing Wire for saying that. So I stuck my neck really out there last fall. Like, don't wait for the refi boom. It ain't coming to save you. And I got a lot of hate mail behind that, but it was the truth. I still feel it. I get hate mail every day. Normally it's by Sammy and his attorney.
Sammy just typing away. Breakfast was late today.
Breakfast was cold. But the refi boom that people are talking about is still not coming. It still isn't here. It's still a purchase market. It's a great purchase market, by the way. I said that last time. I'm going to say it again. It's a great time to buy a house.
It is. Inventory it's a buyer's market, and not around here. It's definitely a buyer's market. You can get back to having inspections. You can get back to picking your
seller paying closing costs.
Sure. Yeah,
right.
That's a great. I think people are still a little bit paralyzed with the news cycle, a little bit nervous about what the future might bring, and let's keep them on the sidelines a bit more.
Wow, it's just a shame, man. Because I wish the news would just kind of be a little bit more friendly. Is that a good way to say that?
Yeah, friendly is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like if they just kind of like didn't try to look for all the blood every single day.
Well, are you going to click on the article that says friendly or the article that says, holy crap, look at all the bad stuff? We're about to tell you about all the bad stuff. Click here.
I actually have this thing that I subscribe to called the Good News Network.
Oh, nice.
GNN.
Oh,
seriously, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. That's what it's called. And that's how I get my morning news.
The Good News. Is it really called the Good News Network?
Yeah. And so to me, it's like, dude, if I can wake up with good news, there's an interesting article a few weeks ago about panda bears not being on the extinct cycle anymore.
Let's go.
You don't hear this on the news cycle, right? But if you subscribe to the GNN, and that was my morning news that day.
I don't understand who's killing pandas. Like, they're the best bear in the world.
I don't know why would you think pandas they are very angry bears?
No, they're not. They're harmful.
Dude, no.
They don't have claws.
Dude,
they don't eat
you. You know why? Oh, okay, I know why.
They're frisky.
I tried not to bring up your honey diet.
I get defensive about bears.
So I can't. This is related to your mass use of honey. Now, I don't think pandas eat honey though. I think they're more bamboo natives.
The bear family. But here's my thing: there are bears that are scary. Grizzlies, polar. The other bears are great. Just leave them alone. They don't have tusks to harvest. Why are we killing pandas?
What was that saying? Like, if it's a brown bear, hit the ground. Brown ground. Black, stand back. Something like that. I don't know.
I was gonna get a tattoo once with all the different predators and what to do, like alligator, run zigzag, bear.
Well, in Minnesota, that makes sense.
Shark, I don't punch him in the nose. Right?
Where I'm at in DC, I need one for all the politicians, like senator.
Yeah.
I mean, stitch your wallet.
Yeah, cover your wallet. That way, if I'm ever approached, I can just go like this and then go. I know what to do. Run zigzag. I don't want to run zigzag with a bear. That's not good.
All right. Well, look, we got a guest today.
Yeah, Nick.
It's kind of interesting, right? Nick Friedman, HomeLight from Phoenix, Arizona. Now, the neat thing about Nick is I was doing a little bit of research, right? We do a little bit of research, not a lot, right? But they have this program where they help people buy houses before they like have to sell their current house.
Mhm.
Kind of like a bridge loan, but it's not a bridge loan. But that's why we asked Nick to come on the show and talk to us about it. So let's get Nick out here.
Yes.
Nick, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. Just talking about bears and pandas and wounds that pandas inflict on human beings. You want in on this, or you want to go serious?
I do want in on it. I also am very curious about this honey diet that I keep hearing about.
Well, Nick, what's your official position on pandas before we get any further?
I'm very much pro panda. Yes, I'm pro panda. I'm sorry, but I am. I'm actually not sorry. I'm confident in my decision.
Don't be sorry. Yeah, you don't be sorry, Nick.
Yeah. I own this.
You be a proud pro panda person.
I mean, how can you not be pro panda? It's kind of.
I'm not anti panda. I just think that the thing that people understand that they have this fascination that pandas are cuddly animals, and if you hug a panda, he will claw you to death.
Little nubs, his little loving
documented?
nubs. Oh no!
I've never seen a video of someone getting clawed to death by a panda. I feel like I would have seen that by now. You know.
You know what? We should look for that. I'm pretty sure.
You should watch one video of a
I
panda.
can say one video. You guys will stop the panda stuff.
Fine.
Nick just booked another spot for himself on Laugh, Learn, and Eat, ladies and gentlemen.
I just got another spot. Let's go.
So Nick, how's it going, buddy? You're out there in Phoenix, Arizona, right?
I am. Yes, sir.
It's not anywhere near as cold as it is here in DC, I imagine.
It is 70 and sunny. It's beautiful.
Minnesota, what do we got in Minnesota?
It's negative 84.
Wow, negative 84. You know, that reminds me, there's a song, by the way, about who's that? Audio Slave? No, not Audio Slave. Who's that? Yeah, it was Audio Slave, where the guy that passed away, the singer, and there's a line about that he's looking California, but he feels Minnesota.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, that's a hell of a line, man. I heard that this morning as I was weightlifting. So I was
That's
like,
why I love music.
Yeah. So let's get back to Nick, though. Okay. Enough about you, Justin, and your love and fat. Oh, so Nick wants to know about your honey diet.
Yeah, I do want to close that loop.
I don't want to deprive Nick of this information.
If you eat only honey 24/7, 365, you will lose massive amounts of weight. You'll feel better. Skin looks better, smarter. All the things happen.
So how long have you been doing this?
About 2 months.
2 months, no food, nothing, just honey.
Just
nothing
straight
else.
honey.
But
Just
tell
straight-
them the reason why you have to have the honey.
because our
Nick,
CEO. So times are tough in mortgage, right? And our CEO, he makes his own honey, and that's what we've been paid lately. It's just through. So
Just that honey.
I've been trying to barter honey for like other like bread or cattle. It's not a good barter system. I just eat the honey. So
Honestly, it's very impressive that you're doing this. So I
Let's
really
take it.
appreciate that. Yeah.
So since we've had Justin be a sideman on this show, it used to be that he would take up about 70% of his cube. So he's down to about 65, 60%. Since we're not in person, we have to measure by how we, unless he's backing the camera up and I'm not aware of that. So I don't know. Maybe,
the little guy now.
I love it. Very impressive. I'm very, very proud of this. This is an excellent achievement.
So listen, now that we got the honey thing out of the way, right, Justin? We're good? Can we have interview with Nick and find out about HomeLight? All right, cool. So look, Nick, I read about HomeLight, right? But obviously for our audience, like, what is HomeLight? For if they've never heard of HomeLight before, what is it basically, a 30,000 foot view?
Yeah, so basically our goal is to just make transactions for buyers, for sellers, for agents, and for lenders simple, certain, satisfying in any way that we can. Our main kind of flagship product is called Buy Before You Sell. The goal of that product is, I'm a client, I need to buy my next home, but I've got an existing home that I need to sell first. If I sell the home first, I'm going to have to live with my parents or my in-laws and do a double move. And it's just very complicated. So how do you create a world where you can buy your next home first and then worry about selling second? And so our product allows you to do that, remove the existing mortgage liability, which is super important so that you can actually qualify for that next property, as well as take out equity from that existing home so you can use it to put down on that next home and move in immediately. So that's kind of the core product. We have a couple other pieces as well, but that's kind of the main thing that we focus on here at HomeLight.
So just I mean, like, so when you do that, so just FYI, I mean, I'm part of AnnieMac, right? So we should just kind of put that out there as well.
Yeah.
So we have a product also called buy now, sell later. Similar, I would
Yeah.
imagine, similar product.
Sure.
But as a third-party vendor, how do you guys handle the underwriting element of that? Because obviously you're not the mortgage company.
Correct. So the underwriting for the purchase mortgage is done by any lender, right? We never do the purchase mortgage. We partner with lenders across the country, loan officers across the country, and they just deal with that purchase mortgage. We're only looking at the departing residence, and we're determining how much equity we can pull out of that home in order to go buy your next home with. So we're not really looking at the incoming residence borrower underwrite, if you will.
Nice. What made you guys do this? I mean, what was that one moment where you're like hanging out with Justin, eating honey, and then all of a sudden you say, you know what, I'm going to create a program that's going to revolutionize the buying process?
Yeah, it's a great question. It goes back about 10 years or so, roughly 10 years. I was in college and I decided to drop out of college and try to solve real estate in some way, shape, or form. And my first idea was eliminate all of the agents and all of the loan officers and make life easy. And we don't need all these people, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
And very quickly realized
the word eliminate. I got to pause.
Yeah, eliminate. Like that was
that's like a horrific word.
Awful, just awful. Yeah. And then I realized that was really stupid. And
were you like 20 years old? 21?
I was 19. I was 19.
And you want to eliminate people who've been doing it for 30 years.
Yes.
That
was the goal. That was the goal. That's what I thought. And then I learned in about 6 months that would be the worst business model. And
like how many months of psychotherapy did you need to get that out of your head? Like I should not eliminate loan officers and real estate agents.
It did not take long. So then I realized, wait a second, we actually need these people. So let me build tools to actually help them do their jobs better. And so,
cool.
So really, I was actually getting my hair cut, which I need to do again pretty soon. This is getting a little long. I was getting my hair cut and I was at a barber shop. My barber was literally like, I just lost 15 offers in a row. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I literally went through 15 homes and I was beaten out by a cash buyer every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that's a big problem, right? Because if you have to settle for a home that you want, that's a problem. How can we get everyone to be a cash buyer? This was the original idea, right? And so we said, hey, why don't we front cash for everyone? We can be the rich uncle or the rich aunt that people don't have. Front the cash for people, allow them to buy a home all cash. That was the original concept. I started a company called Accept.Inc. That company was then sold to HomeLight about 3.5 years ago. Right around that time, competitive offers, this is 2022, competitive offers kind of went away. And one of the biggest problems people started to have was, hey, I have an existing house. I need to go buy another house and I do not want to have to sell this house first. So there was a big liquidity issue and a big just inventory issue generally. And so we looked at this space and we said, hey, the next logical step, once you remove that financing and that appraisal contingency with a cash offer, the third contingency on the offer, the one that kills a lot of deals, is the home sale contingency, right? So how do we create a product that allows agents to remove that contingency and allows lenders to be able to qualify their customers for the next home? And so that was basically around the time we said, hey, let's move into launching buy before you sell. And we kind of grew it from there. So this was, again, 2022 or so is when we did our first few transactions for this product.
Are you licensed in all states? I mean, is it even a licensed product or is it available in all states, I should say, right?
We are in 48 states currently.
Are you avoiding Minnesota because Justin's there?
Yes, that is the main issue with Minnesota. Yes, that is correct.
I get it.
No, it's Alaska and New York are where we are.
New York's got to be a tough state. New York's always a tough state.
New York's always tough.
Doesn't matter. Like the only tougher state that I just run into, by the way, just FYI, is Utah.
Oh, really?
Oh, I don't know what they have. I mean, seriously, if you're Utah Housing, I apologize. Please don't rescind our offer or approval now. I could not believe the pain. I've never experienced what I experienced in Utah.
Really?
I've been doing mortgages since 1994. I was one of the guys you were trying to eliminate. You know,
I love it.
I was just like, it was just, I'd never seen. I mean, I know New York's awful. I mean, it's always been awful, but Utah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
Justin, is this a program as a loan officer that's active? Because I'm not active, right? I mean, you're an active loan officer?
Yeah.
Is this something that you could see yourself using?
Heck yeah. I mean, and Nick, as you described, these ebbs and flows of these business cycles, they're always trying to shift on us. But I do think this is a product that anyone at any time would love to be a cash buyer if they aren't.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that, one of the big things for me is that, when you're a seller, right, and you're selling a property, and someone comes in and puts an offer on the home, and that offer says, "Hey, I have to, make sure that a loan officer can qualify me. I have to make sure that a third party appraiser is going to actually appraise this home for the value that we're going to buy it for. And on top of that, I have to sell my house to somebody else who you don't even know yet because it's not under contract yet." Like that's like giving somebody a check and just saying like, "Hey, I
Hmm.
hope it doesn't bounce," right?
Yeah.
That's basically what putting an offer on a home is if you do it that way. And so our goal is to say, "Hey, why don't we find a way, especially on the home sale piece, because that piece is really tough for loan officers, right? Loan officers are thinking, "Hey, I've got to wait for another person to come here, do an independent real estate transaction that I'm not even a part of before I can even serve this client to go buy their next house because their DTI is all out of whack because they have a $3,000 mortgage payment on there," right? That we want to avoid that for loan officers at all costs, right?
But Nick,
And
I
that's
mean,
kind of the goal.
when you go through all these elements, these are all like traditional mortgage lending components of our transaction. Is
Yep.
there one element that you were sitting in your barber shop or that one day in college before you said, "I'm done with college"? Like, is there one element that was more broken to you?
I think like the actual transaction, the offer part of the transaction is broken. And it's always been broken. It's this like, you know, check versus credit card concept kind of, right? It's like, hey, in the early days before I was around, there were no credit cards, right? It was just checks and cash. And cash was great because you could just take the cash and you're done. Checks were, buying groceries with a check, you don't know if it's actually going to bounce the other end, right? That's where
Mhm.
the credit card came in. So the idea is, can you create a credit card and transaction earlier in the process, around the offer time, right? Where people can go in and submit an offer and know that that deal is going to close versus coming in and submitting an offer that, hey, like maybe this will close. I'm not sure if it will. That's kind of, I think, what I'm looking at is it's a really long process, it's a stressful process, and you do not want to be sitting at the closing table and find out that the deal can't go through because
Mhm.
that is the worst experience for the seller and for the buyer both.
Yeah. I think for me, when I look back at my career, and it was always like I would try to make sure that my buyers were notified ahead of time if there was any issues.
Mhm.
But I also went one step farther. Either myself or my sister would call the listing agent,
Yep.
and listing agents, they can be a little temperamental,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? I mean, I got threatened a lot of times by agents saying this has to close on this date. I said, well, it's not.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm telling
Yeah.
you a week ahead of time so everyone can. Well, we're going to still be at the table. Okay, go at the table. I'll leave a jar of honey for you. I mean, that's all I can do, right? But I mean, how? I guess there's got to be misconceptions though about that HomeLight. Like you're out there, obviously, you're trying to get this word out there about HomeLight. People have like conceptions of who HomeLight is and what it does and what it doesn't. What's like the most weirdest or most like not even true compared to HomeLight that you've heard?
Interesting. I would say uh, iBuyer is probably the most common. That we go out and we just buy a bunch of houses and we flip them and make money off the flips. That's something that I hear a lot. It's like, no,
Okay.
that's not what we're doing, right? Anytime there's a potential for us to purchase a property, people view it as, hey, you're an iBuyer, you're an investor. We're not even close to that, right? We're not looking to profit off of home buying. We hate buying homes, right? It's kind of a pain in the ass to purchase a property. And so I think that's been a pretty big misconception. Um, I did. There was a rumor. This was a little while ago. This was
Oh,
right
we love
before my
rumors on this show.
acquisition.
We love
This,
rumors. Me and
I
Justin.
figured that's why I'm bringing it up.
Cool. Let's do it.
So this was right around the time that my company was acquired. About 3 or 4 months before, there was a rumor floating around that I had died.
Oh,
And so there were letters getting sent to our office saying like, so sorry to hear about your loss. And I was like, I'm still here. I'm reading the letters. I don't know where it came from. I still to
Wow.
this day have no idea who started it. But
Wow.
that was probably the weirdest thing I've heard in my professional career
wow.
is that I passed away. So, but I'm,
Holy,
I'm
Justin,
still here.
any weird rumors about you, man? I mean, there's got to be a handful of rumors about
Gotta
you.
be tons of them. Yeah.
that's crazy to think that you were. Did you spend the next 24 hours like checking over your shoulder? Just like,
Yeah, no, I was I was definitely nervous. I was definitely nervous. But at some point it's like, all right, well, I don't know what else I can do about this. So,
if I was your coworker, I would get one of those red lights and start putting a dot on your a dot on your hand. It's like
Maybe you could have taken like a life insurance policy out on yourself or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
that was when I first got life insurance. That was it.
Oh,
That was that. Yeah, it was a little bit. It was definitely scary, but you know,
You're doing
I don't
something
know
right.
who would have started it, who would have done it, but I still don't know to this day.
That
That's
means we're
interesting.
doing something right, Nick. If you get death threats, I call that a death threat, but
Yeah.
you're doing something good.
It's like a soft death.
It's just a rumor. We can't identify or confirm.
Yeah, very strange.
When you start your car, we're like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr, rrr."
Yeah. Do that scene like a casino, man, where you just jump out the door, don't wait for the end result.
That's it. That's exactly
So,
it. I
can
love
you
it.
share, like, I guess for me, it's like when you first started Accept, is that the first company you started, right?
Yeah, yep.
And you were doing this like buy now, sell later program, whatever.
We were doing just the cash offer program at the time. No, not
remember
buy
that?
now seller.
Do you okay? So you were the founder of it. I always love this question. If you can remember, like the very first transaction you closed, how did it feel, man?
The first transaction we closed, I forced my uncle to buy a house. That was the first transaction we closed because nobody trusted me. So that one felt good because we did it. But it was also, it was my uncle who I forced to buy a house. So that, the second transaction was
Okay,
amazing.
fair enough.
'Cause it was the first time some random person who I didn't know found us and said, hey, I just lost 10, 12 offers, forgot what it was in a row, similar story. I'm putting 5% down, and I'm getting outbid by everybody. And we literally turned them into a cash buyer. They won their next house. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
It's gotta be a
And
cool feeling.
it was one of the coolest feelings I've ever had. And then, it's just the amount of people that you meet and get to know through this job, this industry is really, really cool. And people are still in the same homes today. We actually we had about 15 or 16 rooms in our office, and we named each room after our first 16 transactions or so. And so each one was the address of each one. And so our team is very familiar with each of those transactions. So they definitely meant a lot to us, those early transactions that we did, for sure.
Now, people should not misunderstand. Like, maybe this is why maybe this is the debt thing, by the way, you don't drive around with money, cash in your car.
No, definitely not. I did have a license plate.
I just thought about that. Maybe that's why he got the rumor started. Like
that is a good thought, but no, I did not do that. I did have a license plate that said cash offer. That was the license plate. And that was cool. But no, that's the furthest I went.
You guys see that movie American Hustle, where the cops find like those hundreds of thousands of dollars in the guy's car? Like, it was in like 1970s, like $1 million. They turned it in. That's why I see Nick driving around Phoenix, Arizona with cash just throwing cash to everybody.
I wish I could do that, but no. And I've refrained from that pipe dream.
No. What made you like say, okay, I want to take Accept to the next level? I got to find another partner, or was it just the offer from HomeLight was just too good to turn down, or what was that?
Yeah, it's hard when you run a venture-backed company, right? And you have to keep raising money. And it was 2022, and we had two options. We could either go raise again, or we can go the acquisition route. We were approached by someone else, not HomeLight, and we just kind of opened up a process and figured that HomeLight would be the best fit. And kind of move from there. And it was very interesting for me, for sure, especially this was 3.5, almost 4 years ago now. I expected to be at HomeLight for about 4 or 5 months. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I want to start a lot more companies. I will start a lot more companies. But what's cool about HomeLight is Drew, the CEO, kind of gave me space to kind of run and continue to just be autonomous and feel like I've got a little mini company within the company, right? And kind of own the buy before you sell product, and that's been really cool for me, to kind of feel that and have the resources that HomeLight has, but the ability to kind of still innovate and be entrepreneurial, and I think that's been really exciting for me.
Well, let's talk about HomeLight. I mean, what other? I mean, because we're not as familiar with HomeLight, right, as we could be, right? What other service? I mean, what's exciting? I mean, obviously you said the CEO is exciting you, but I mean, what's the future of HomeLight?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, buy before you sell is kind of the first step in tools that we can offer to loan officers. I think one of the big things that we're looking at is just home equity in general. So right now we're saying, hey, there's a lot of home equity that people have. They don't realize they can use it when they're going to purchase their next property, right? So it's transactional equity. But there's also equity in the homes that can be used in other times as well. So once you buy your home and own your home and have it for years, a lot of people don't realize that they can tap into that equity in some really creative and interesting ways. So we are working on some really cool products in that space as well, which I can't share fully, but there's some really interesting stuff on the home equity side that you'll see come out here pretty quickly. So very excited about that. And then kind of one of our core in 2012 when HomeLight was founded, when I was like 7 or something, when HomeLight was founded in 2012, what was really interesting during that time was Drew's focus was actually connecting real estate agents and buyers and sellers, right? So, hey, I want to find a top realtor in my area. And basically they would go on HomeLight's site and you could be connected and basically matching for agents and for customers. We still have that core product today. We have, hundreds of thousands of people who come to our website and look for these types of things. And so, we're working on connecting kind of the buy before you sell and home equity side to the, kind of direct to consumer side as well. And I think there's a lot of opportunities there too. So that's what kind of excites me.
I got to ask this question, right? I mean, how is AI fitting into this new role? I mean, because everyone is using AI at such an amazing level. We're all using AI and everything. I mean, Justin's really a figment of our imagination. He's actually generated by my AI machine. I figured I use a guy that would be perfect to my side. You know what I mean? But
not paying. No commission, no pay, no income.
It's the easiest thing I could do in my life. Anyway, where does AI fit in? Where does AI fit into all this with you guys?
Yeah. So I think to me, like, I think AI is, it's interesting because I think the term is used by so many people and many people have no idea what it is. And some people, very few people do. And it's really interesting. Right. So I think, kind of the way that I think about it is, one, we're definitely using it for internal tools. And I think everyone is at this point, right? It's like, can you make your team more efficient? Can you make your engineers more efficient? Right. There's a lot of things that we use it for kind of the inside. Externally, and as far as what we're looking to give to loan officers, a lot of it is around the approval, right? So right now, as a loan officer, if I've got, a standard Fannie Freddie mortgage, it's pretty easy for me to do that and manufacture it. If I've got a weird non-QM loan, it's going to take 6-7 days to underwrite that thing. And it's a pain in the ass to work through, right? And so one of the things that we're looking at is taking AI and using it to actually read and, understand documents, and actually have a product matrix of all types of different products that the loan officer can then kind of fit into the transaction. And I think that's where AI goes in this space, is really around the approval, more so than anything, and making sure that customers know within 5 seconds what makes the most sense for them given their situation. And I think that can improve over time. But today, if I call a mortgage loan officer today and ask them for, hey, I've got this situation, that situation, they're like, cool, let me get back to you and run some scenarios. Instead of that, it's like, hey, here's the best scenario optimized for you. This is what it would look like. Here's another one. Here's another one. I think that to me is a really cool and powerful tool that we should be focusing on. It's something that we're working on at HomeLight as well.
I'm wondering if there's also like some kind of risk assessment you guys could be utilizing with AI, because that's where my mind went, right? Just like if I'm working for you guys, I'm going to use that as a way to decide if I'm going to give somebody the 5% or not, or whatever that
totally.
Right.
And we absolutely are. We absolutely are doing that as well. And I think just on the risk side generally, right, it's interesting for us because the risk that we take is very different than a mortgage lender. It's also very different than like an iBuyer, right? Sure. We're basically saying, hey, we have a 120-day program period, right? So basically you have 120 days to sell your house. If you don't sell in 120 days, we buy the house and then resell in the open market. We still give full upside to the client, but there's a 120-day window essentially. So our risk team is saying, hey, my prediction is that within 120 days, this home will sell for X price, and therefore I can give this person X amount of equity. That's a very different discussion versus I need to fix and flip this home and make a certain profit, right? And so there's a lot more leniency, I think, in that world because we're kind of predicting the future a bit. And so I think what we're training our AI risk models to do is look at, hey, every single home should have some way to get some sort of approval, unless the home's falling apart or whatever, right? Even homes in Minnesota, maybe we can improve, right? Rural Minnesota, right? And one way to do that is to say, okay, well, maybe we just can't give as much equity for this property, right? But we can still do it, right? Or maybe, maybe we can be creative, and if this person has 2 properties, we can use both and leverage both to actually make the transaction work. So there's some really interesting things that we're looking at as far as how do you make every single deal work, or how do you find a solution for every single deal? And that's, I think, what we've improved on dramatically.
Just so the audience hears this from you, Nick, you don't want their house. you want them to sell it 120 days, right? I imagine
100%.
you're going to take a haircut, like an 80% off the BPO or some kind of thing, right? If you had to buy from the particular client.
So the way it would work is we would basically buy the home to satisfy all the liens. So let's say it's $1 million house, they owe 500, we gave them 300, right? We would buy the home actually at $1 million with a $200,000 credit. So it would, on the MLS, it would say $1 million. There wouldn't be any issues with reselling the property. We would then go sell it. And if it sells for more than the 800, or then the $1 million, right, or whatever it might be, they get all the upside associated with the property.
That's pretty cool. That's fair.
So the customer gets to keep all of that. We're not trying to make any money off this. We just need to break even at that point and just get the home off our books. 99% of the time, we are not buying a property.
How many have you bought? Do you know? Do you know the number? How many have you bought?
We've bought probably 37, I believe, something like that.
Well, I gotta ask, brother. Come on, and you gotta be honest with them. What was the nightmare one out of 37? What was the nightmare?
We had one. Oh man,
was it in Minnesota? Was it in Minnesota?
It was not in Minnesota,
Okay.
thank goodness. Yeah.
It was covered in honey, Justin.
Honey everywhere.
I had to call in someone to remove all the honey stains.
Oh,
That's actually now that we've said that, that's going to be the next problem property. I got to come back in the show just to tell you about that one.
No, what was the nightmare one? You got to tell us.
One nightmare one that we had. Well, there's a few that come to mind, but one which was really crazy was somebody who actually they boarded up their home and locked themselves in it.
What?
And we were trying to sell it, and we had to go through a lot to get that problem solved. They
didn't see that coming. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, they refused to leave the house, so they boarded themselves into the house. That was a pretty scary situation. We've had ones where we've had the classic flooding. We've had inspectors actually fall through like the ceiling in certain homes, which is really bad.
Yeah, good.
Let's see. Pretty much every home we buy, there's always like some little thing. We had one home that was just had 14 liens on it basically that we just discovered at the last minute, which was kind of crazy. So just some weird stuff going on for sure. But again, what I would say is we've gotten much better at it, right? So we don't own as many now, we don't buy as many now, and we've kind of just really understood. But in the early days, yeah, you get some really crazy horror stories. I
think just like in life as a leader, I mean, you're a leader of the company, right? I mean, every failure leads to more success.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. And
when people
it's
are afraid of failing, they're never going to be successful. It's just you're gonna fail 5 times, 10 times more than you ever succeed.
Totally. We've made so many mistakes. I've made some terrible mistakes, starting with my original thesis of what I wanted the company to be, but would not have gotten here without it. I think I like to say that, I'm an encyclopedia of 1,000 ways to do this business wrong, but I feel like I've finally found one version that works really well. And not that version's perfect, but I also know all of the other options that don't work because I've tried them all and I failed miserably, right? So that's I think the benefit to failing. I think the most important part though is you have to learn from your mistakes. A lot of people get married and wed to their ideas, and then they just keep going on that path, and it's a slow failure, right? And so I think that's really important.
No, I mean, one of my best friends is Joe Wilson, the founder of Social Coach.
Yep.
And when Social Coach first started, it was not anywhere near what it is today. It was literally he was going to teach people how to do social media with coaches that were going to come on your phone and teach you.
Yeah.
And he had to do a U-turn and make a left at Albuquerque and all that other stuff, right? But it was now it's an amazing software program that everyone is utilizing in the mortgage industry. So this is the thing that I love about leaders when they share their mistakes, you know what I mean? And then we, as an audience, we can learn from that.
Absolutely.
And there's no reason to be afraid of it, right, Nick? I mean, at the end of the day, you're better off from those mistakes.
100%. And it feels shitty in the moment. It feels terrible in the moment. I don't know if I can say that word, but yeah, it feels awful in the moment. But it eventually, I think that you have to look at it as who else is even trying, right? That's the first thing. It's who else is even trying to do some of these crazy things in the industry that we're all trying to do? Really nobody. So there's really no playbook for it. And if you're the first person to make the mistake, even better, right?
Yeah. Well, look, man, I want to thank you for coming on here. This was a quick interview, but I think we learned a lot in just a few minutes, right? Obviously, Justin had to come in with his diet for honey, and that was great. But I think HomeLight, where can people get a hold of HomeLight? How do people get a hold of you? How do they do that?
Yeah, we can just go to lenders.homelight.com or just homelight.com homepage as well. Take a look at our information there. And yeah, we'd be excited to help anyone who's interested.
And are you guys making the rounds of like all the all this like what are those conventions or MBAs, Amelia Island and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we go to a bunch of them. We have a good time at those, so definitely stop by if you see us there. And
I do about 3-4 in a row, then I'm out for the rest of the year. I'm like, I can't handle. I don't need any swag. I don't need any more hugs. I've said all the little small conversations I've had for the whole year. I'm done.
Hey, we normally have bourbon at the booth, so if you want some bourbon, come by with us. So,
there you go,
we like to keep it classy, you know.
Justin, you got to give up your honey. Can you mix
we'll
honey
get some
and
honey
bourbon?
at the booth. HomeLight honey.
Bourbon, probably. They can do it.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for coming on the show. You know, we got the email from somewhere from your company, and we love the fact that you guys love Laugh, Learn, and Eat. So
absolutely,
it's one of my favorite podcasts, Justin. Right?
One of my top 10.
I mean, top 10. I made the list for Justin's top 10 list.
Yep.
And look, if you guys would love this show, you guys want to hear more people like Nick Friedman, please go on our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, comment, so that we can continue doing what we're doing. This is pure love that we love doing this kind of stuff and bring you guys information. Okay, Justin, Nick, thank you so much for coming on, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Talking leadership, making the big plays in the mortgage game through the sun and the haze. Close more deals, build your success. Time to level up and beat the stress. Get ready to laugh, learn and eat. Your weekly scene. Let's go.